What if the clearest sign that you've made it wasn't measured by how much you're doing, but how calm you feel whilst you're doing it? Hi, I'm Janet Mohapi-Banks, and I'm a best-selling author of my book, The Habits for Happiness, and a transformational happiness coach for high achievers and soul seekers who wake up feeling empty despite their outward success. Using my unique methodology, the Mohapi Method to More, which blends neuroscience, psychology, spirituality, and manifestation techniques, all of which are underpinned by really powerful mindset work, I help you to go from burnout and dissatisfaction to living a life that really does feel as good as it looks without losing your ambition, diminishing your dreams, or settling for less. If you'd like a taste of how my work can help you, I invite you to join me in my free 14-day mini course, Rewire Your Brain for Happiness. The link is in the description. Okay, so let's talk about a version of success that most people don't even realize is possible. And that's the kind of success that feels spacious, where you wake up in the morning and your chest doesn't tighten with thoughts of what you should be doing, where your calendar supports your energy instead of dictating your worth, and where you can actually just pause and feel good about it. Imagine sipping your morning coffee without multitasking. And imagine finishing work and your body doesn't feel wired or depleted, just still and present. That's the kind of success that I'm talking about. And it's the kind of success that feels like a deep breath on a Tuesday afternoon. You'd think that after achieving so much, that success would feel that way by default, right? But for so many high achievers, it just doesn't. Often it feels heavy, pressurized, like a race that doesn't stop. Maybe you felt this too. You've built a life, reached the milestones, kept the promises, but somewhere deep down, it doesn't feel like you thought it would. Like there's no room to breathe, like you're doing all the things, but not really feeling any of them. And even in your wins, you kind of feel oddly disconnected. Well, that feeling, it's a sign, not that you're ungrateful, but that the version of success that you've been living doesn't match with who you are now. And I learned this the hard way. Previously, in my previous career, I had the kind of success that everybody admired. My luxury cake business was absolutely thriving. I was featured in wedding magazines and on wedding TV, and I was known, respected, and successful. But I was running on fear. Fear of losing it all, fear of not being legitimate enough, fear that if I slowed down, it would all collapse. And that fear drove me to push, prove, and just perform. I thought I was being strong, responsible, and driven, but now I can see that I was actually trying to outrun the fear instead of rising beyond it. I was a full-time mum, often awake and working 36 hours straight, holding everything together. But my body knew the truth, and that was that I was exhausted and completely hollowed out. So I started vomiting every day, multiple times a day. And I still didn't stop working until one day I vomited during a cake tasting session, and I just knew that I couldn't go on. And I was sick for 5 years until I recovered thanks to a chiropractor. But being in bed all that time and going over what had led me to that point forced me to ask a question that I'd never even stopped to consider before. What does success feel like when you're not performing it, but actually living it? Yeah. And that question changed everything. Because what I learned through healing, rebuilding, and reconnecting to myself is that real success isn't actually about achievement. It's about alignment. It's about waking up and feeling at home in your life, about having time for joy and space to breathe, and the capacity to be present in the moments that you once raced through. You're not rushing through your day wondering where the time went anymore. Instead, you're just in the moment, watching the steam rise from your cup of tea, or hearing your children laughing in the next room, or maybe walking into a meeting feeling grounded instead of bracing for confrontation. That's not laziness, that's leadership from the inside out. From a neuroscience perspective, this makes perfect sense because your brain is wired for safety. And when your version of success constantly puts you in fight or flight mode, your body never ever feels safe enough to rest or relax. Even your wins feel like threats because they carry the weight of maintaining or outdoing them, right? So you just keep moving, you keep pushing, keep trying to earn ease by sacrificing more of who you are. But what if that loop isn't required? What if success really could feel calm? Not because you've lowered your standards, but because you've raised your frequency. When you shift from what do I need to do to feel successful to who do I want to be whilst I'm creating, everything expands. You stop hustling for validation and you start honoring your inner wisdom. You create from overflow instead of depletion. And that's the kind of success that really does feel spacious. And here's the best part, right? It doesn't mean that you lose your ambition. It means that your ambition stops costing you your peace and well being. It means that you can still grow your business, write the book, lead the team, but now you're doing it from your center and not from fear. Imagine working 4 hours a day and getting more done than you used to in 12, or ending your week with energy in your tank and not just the fumes. Imagine your goals pulling you forward instead of pushing you from behind. That's the version of success that I live now. And it's the version that I teach inside my work because it's not a fantasy, it's a properly built framework. And it starts with redefining your metrics. So instead of asking, what did I achieve today? Try asking, did I feel aligned today? Did I honor my energy today? Did I create from inspiration or obligation? When those become your markers, success feels completely different. You trust yourself more. You say no without guilt, and you stop chasing what already lives within you and start uncovering it and receiving it with ease. And when you do that, life opens up. You become more magnetic and opportunities flow, and you feel joyful without needing a reason behind it. And yes, you still achieve incredible things, but now you feel incredible too. So before we wrap up, take just a second to tune in. Yeah. What would today feel like if you gave yourself just a little bit more space, more calm, more presence, just a little bit more room to be human? Now, if this is speaking to you, and if you're nodding along and thinking, yes, this is what I've been missing, trust me, you're not alone. So many of us were taught to push our way to fulfillment. But real fulfillment doesn't come at the end of an activities list. It comes the moment you decide that how you feel matters more than how it looks to other people. That's when your life starts to feel like yours again. So, if you're ready for that shift, I'd love to help. My free 14-day mini course, Rewire Your Brain for Happiness, is where so many of my clients begin. It's ease-filled and powerful, and it gives you the practical tools to start living success your way, not the world's way. The link is in the description. And as we close, I want to leave you with this. If your life already looks successful on paper, what would need to change for it to feel successful to your soul? Let that question guide you, not just today, but every day moving forwards. And if you haven't seen it yet, my last video shows you how to shift from performing gratitude to actually living it. And that shift will change how you experience every part of your life. So there to learn what gratitude that manifests actually feels like. I look forward to seeing you in my community. And if I don't, well, just know that you've got this. And I'll see you next time. Bye.